Hi, I'm Nick Miser, and you're watching Spot Check, the show for people who like to watch. The premise for the show is simple. First, we play a game of D&D on Google Hangouts, and I record the session. Second, I take that session and chop it up into 30-minute episodes for your viewing pleasure. I'm calling this first session 10 Enter Stonehell, 1 Leaves, followed shortly thereafter by 9 others. The session should take us about 5 or 6 episodes to get through, and what you'll see in this first episode is the group getting together in the town of Dahar, bringing on some hirelings, and then setting off for the dungeon of Stonehell through the wilderness. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. There's not a lot of high adventure in this episode. There are approximately 0 dungeons and no dragons whatsoever. Nonetheless, I've decided to include it for a few important reasons. The first of which is, it's my show and I'll do what I damn well please. The second of is that I really want to capture the rhythm of an entire session, and part of that is the introductory period. From a mythography standpoint, there's Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, which tells us that it's important in a story for the adventurers to start out in a place of normality before they hear the call to adventure and go out into the world. Joseph Campbell's not necessarily my favorite mythographer in the world, but he does have a point, and I think there's a really important rhythm to starting with that introductory bit and then ending back in town as well. Before we dive right into that, I believe a few introductions are in order. The first of which is the Adventurer Conqueror King system, which is what I'm using to run the game under the hood, so to speak. The game is actually part of what we call in the Google Plus universe flail snails. It basically means that anyone can bring any character from any other game that they're playing on Google Plus into my game. So you'll see that we have a goblin wizard from the neoclassical Geek Revival system. We have a few Adventurer Conqueror King characters. I believe we have an AD&D character, and then someone who I never really found out what system they were using in the first place. But we just bring all of that in and we roll with it. But I digress. Adventurer Conqueror King. It's currently my system of choice. It's what some people call a second wave retro clone, meaning that it emulates in a lot of ways earlier editions of D&Ds, but it gives it its own spin. So Axe is mostly based on basic D&D, but the main innovation that they're bringing to the table, and the main feature that sticks out to me at least for Axe, is the economic integration. Economic integration in Axe basically boils down to the fact that whenever the characters walk into a new town or meet a powerful NPC, I can know right off the bat how much money they make a month, how many followers they're likely to have. If they're in the town, I know what sorts of items are available to them, if there's any spellcasters available, and that's all a rationalized economic system that I can tap into, and that when the characters get to higher level, they can manage all of those resources and be the adventurers, and then the conquerors, and then the kings. The name, you're starting to get it, I see. The second and final introduction of my introduction is Stonehell Dungeon, Down Night-Haunted Halls, written by Michael Curtis, which it does not say on the cover, so you'll just have to trust me on that. A Stonehell Dungeon is a mega dungeon, and this is the first half of the dungeon that Mike has released, and I'm using it as a tentpole for my campaign currently, meaning that characters often go there, they go there repeatedly, but they're not necessarily only going there. And Stonehell is written for Labyrinth Lord, but Labyrinth Lord is based on basic D&D, and Axe is based on basic D&D, so I haven't had any problems in the conversion, and I hope that makes sense. By this point, I can hear you all shouting through the tubes of the internet, as they say in the music industry, less talk, more rock. And therefore, without further ado, I present to you 10 Enter Stonehell, 1 Leaves, followed shortly thereafter by 9 others. Episode 1.
That has a fez. Don't forget the fez.
And if he's like Sir Digby Chicken Caesar, he's convinced that the government's out to get him and is waiting for his foreign remuneration.
Well, you know, he's after world domination for all goblin kind.
Alright, my name is Esthalia. I'm a human. My class is a blade dancer, which is kind of like a fighting cleric who worships the goddess of love and war. I have 2 hirelings, Kilmore Bichet, and he's a first level cleric. Raja is a fighter and goes wicked crazy whenever orcs come around.
Her face is burned, right?
Yeah. Half of
things against goblins, you know?
No, just orcs. that we know of. And half of her face is all, like, burned and mangled. She doesn't really talk much. She just goes, like, orc shit crazy when it comes to orcs. The last time we were in the dungeon, she killed, like, 8 or 9 of them by herself. And then I killed
That
a
impressive.
couple others.
I suddenly feel like I don't have an overpowered character. Followers can take on, like, 8 orcs at once.
They were one at a time.
That's still pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But Axe does have cleaving, so if you kill a creature, then you get another attack. And I think a couple of hers were that way.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They didn't really get a chance to hit back is part of the problem, or part of the thing. She kind of got to hit first, and they had bows, most of them, and so she just ran up and went nuts until they were all dead.
Is anyone interested in getting some hirelings or seeing what hirelings might be available in Dahar before you guys head to Stonehell?
Sure, let's see what's around. I don't think anyone would be want to get hired.
Yeah, you probably have.
I mean, I've got, like, magic treasure I could give her that I don't want, you know. I've got, like, almost $1,000. But, you know, I think the whole riding on a bear with a large, you know, military grade, you know, firearms might, you know, put someone off. No matter how beat up they are.
Tony, your template has 49 gold pieces left over, so...
Yeah, I want to buy a shield.
Okay.
Well, I might have a shield you could borrow. Depending on what your money situation is, Tony, I've got, like, just a stockpile of all the dead characters' things.
A shield is 10 gold pieces if you want to buy one.
Yeah, I'll just buy one. My guy's very prideful, so borrowing
How much
is
is bear armor?
Bear armor. I think you'd have to have that special made.
I've had weirder armor made. Giraffe armor is probably the weirdest I've made. Seemed like a good idea at the time.
Leather barding is 40 gold pieces, so I'd imagine it'd be slightly more than that, and then it scales up from there. But it would probably take a week or two to make.
I can get it commissioned.
Yeah, if you want to commission some, the armor is willing to do that. Fairly open-minded dude.
I mean, it'd have to be to make armor for a bear.
For leather barding, it would take about 8 days and cost 50 gold pieces. Scale would be about a couple weeks and about 100 gold pieces.
Could I get, like, plate for, like, a month and, like, 300 gold?
Plate barding would be... It actually take 4 months, given the price, and would cost a little, like 650 gold pieces.
Oh, I'll pay that if I happen to come back and play in this game again.
Okay.
You know, it's been 6
We'll consider that as a reservation if you come back.
Yes. I've got.
He'll have some around. He realized that there's at least one potential customer for bear barding, so he's just going to have it ready, just in case.
Yeah.
Anything else for you, Tony? I think other than that, we might be good to go, unless Athalia needs more hirelings.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We don't have any torchbearers or anything.
I can see in the dark.
We can't. So, Tony, are you gonna get any guys or?
No.
Okay. I have a charisma of 9, Nick. What's my maximum dudes?
4.
4? Okay. Should I get a torchbearer and a fighter, or you 2? Okay. So we have 5 people going in. Who should I throw a hook out for? Do I just throw out a general, hey,
Yeah, you're mostly just, because you're mostly just greasing palms and buying people drinks and whatever, so it's just people who might be willing to enter a high-risk location for a couple days. So you spend 6 gold pieces, and you get a few respondents. You buy someone a drink, and they're like, oh, what about that guy outside? And you go outside, and there's a guy standing there wearing leather armor, and he's just got a halberd, and he's just leaning against the wall of the Bumpkins Squire, kind of picking his teeth with a little chicken bone.
Okay. And so I walk up and I say, "You look like a fine fellow who could use some adventure.
He just nods.
Are you interested in going into Stonehell with me and my crew?"
He holds his hand up like this.
How much?
Shrug.
Shrug.
I shrug motion.
Hello.
Hello?
Hey, Rod. What do you have for a character?
Got a thief, which I think is made in Labyrinth Lord.
Okay.
Is that...
That'll definitely work.
Alright, that sounds good. Let me grab this thing.
Okay.
Okay, so he shrugs. I'll offer 5 gold up front, and we'll go from there.
Kind of shakes his head and goes like that.
I challenge him to a fist fight.
Yeah, the standard rate, a normal man is 12 gold pieces a month is kind of the going rate. A level 1 guy would be 25 gold pieces a month. So you have a sense of range.
Okay.
Is that what we're paying the pit fighter?
Tony hasn't even given us a name yet, so I'm not sure his pit fighter exists.
Right. My guy's name is Holly.
Holly?
Yeah.
Well, for a name like that, he'd have to be a badass.
Yeah. He had to learn how to fight.
Like a boy named Sue.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not necessarily hiring him for a month. I'm hiring him for at least just one time.
Okay, this is like a trial.
Yeah, 5 gold
Okay.
for a day.
Okay. 5 gold for a day seems fair wages if 25 gold is a month. He just nods and grabs his halberd and stands at the ready like, where are we going?
Okay, and I ask him if he has a name.
He just shrugs. Someone walking into the tavern says, "You're not going to get a word out of him. We just call him Guy."
Okay. All right, guy.
Before we go, can I start a bar fight?
You can always
Seems
start
like
a bar
something-
fight.
Okay. I'll tie my bear up outside the bar because, I'm a civilized goblin, I know how these people work. You're not allowed to take, bears or set people on fire, all these weird shit. I've understood how, the tollers work. So, I'm going to walk into this bar, I'm going to climb up onto a stool and say, "Can I have a fluffy duck?"
What? Something about a duck?
I have a fluffy duck.
The guy immediately in front of you just says, "Oh yeah, woo! Give us a show here, Goblin."
I'm not here. I'm not a show. I want a drink, this, good sir. Yeah.
Like a gangster.
The bartender pours some slog into a tankard and slides it down the bar to you. So that'll be 2 copper.
Yeah, I'll pay
And
him.
get the hell off my bar.
I wasn't standing on his bar. I was standing on a bar stool.
On a bar stool. All right.
Yeah,
That
I
works.
learned that too on my second day in the civilization world. I've got a manuscript I'm slowly writing. It's like how not to get stabbed.
Life among
I'm gonna
the
tell it.
humans.
Yes. So can I? Okay, so I'm just trying to remember how bar fights usually start. Okay, I'm gonna spill my drink on someone, but make it look like someone else did it. So that then they punch them, and then someone gets pushed into a waiter, then drinks fly everywhere. That's my plan.
All right, let's just give it a d20 roll, and that'll how successful you are at making it look like someone else did it.
Okay. Higher or lower than I'm meant to get.
Say 12 or better.
Okay. 13. Yes.
All right. You got full-on brawl in there. It starts off, you kind of just tip your drink over and then inadvertently get behind the guy, so the guy turns around and they start pushing each other, and then their buddies come in. It's kind of like World War, the alliances piling up. There's recently been like a festival in town, so everyone's still kind of on edge over all the people's girlfriends that everyone was sleeping with. So we're getting out some pent-up aggression, and yeah, it's just bedlam in there.
Okay. Now I'm going to see if I decide it's a good idea if I want to set it on fire. Oh, I set it on fire. Damn it! I decide not to. Nah, it's good enough chaos as it is. Can I go and get my bear? Can I go and meet everybody else?
All right, and we got one more, Zach. What kind of character are you bringing in?
I have this 3rd level AD&D elf assassin. That's cool.
Oh, that guy.
Okay.
Look
That'll
at
work.
that flaming sword.
Yeah, he was 1st level when he found that. He surprisingly hasn't died yet. Although I usually keep it a secret, so thanks, Darcy.
You're welcome. Just so everybody knows, he's got an awesome flaming sword that we could take off his carcass. Yeah.
I've gone 10 sessions without drawing it, in fact, and only used it twice.
Are you a bit jumpy on people might want to
Surely someone else should
liberate
have.
it from you?
Yeah, just a little worried someone might try to take that from me, yeah.
All right, what's his name, Zach?
His name is Malice. It's actually Malice Aforethought. He's your basic albino elf, you know, wandering around, no regard for human life.
I think he's got a long time.
Very interesting team.
Rob, what was your? You said it was the thief, right?
Yeah, Thief.
What's his name?
His name is Clever Will.
Clever Will. Okay. All right. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people
And the bear.
going in. Shauna, did you want to? You were still working on hiring. Did you want to? There is one potential torchbearer also.
Yeah,
So, a pudgy serf named Bartle.
Bartle. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I walk up to him and I'm like, I just ask if he wants to bear our torch into Stonehell, get out of town for a few hours, and
Some fresh air.
yeah, fresh dungeon air.
For you, milady, I would bear a torch any day.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any requests for payment, or is my presence enough?
6 gold pieces a month would make me a very happy man.
All right. Well, let's start with today. How about 5 silver for the day?
Fair enough. I can't do the math for that, but I'm sure that works out in my favor, you being a gracious lady.
Dude, I'm totally gracious.
All right. I think we are ready to head off to Stonehell then. So Stonehell is located a couple hours north-ish of Dahar, which is Dahar is mostly composed of abandoned buildings. It used to be a much larger town than it is now. So you guys head out of Stonehell. There's kind of a little bit of a lowlands around there, but you head up into the hills before you hit Stonehell proper. And as you're heading up into the hills, a little ways down the road, you see a snake about 50 meters ahead.
Snake?
Yeah, it looks, it's kind of just coiled up, kind of like a giant cinnamon bun.
How big?
It's probably 3 feet diameter. I guess that's not 3 feet. 3 feet diameter little coil.
Kill a cow big, or?
Probably, no, it doesn't seem to be giant. It's a big snake, but it's not like a giant python or anything.
I can imagine that easily. Looking at the snakes in the tank, yeah, it's about right. Okay, I'm going to throw a rock at it.
Okay.
Okay, that's my plan.
Alright, Malice sighs, grumbles, rubs at his bleary, somewhat hungover eyes, and lets the goblin ruin the chance to perfectly assassinate a snake by throwing a rock at it.
Yep. Want me to roll?
All right, go ahead and do the 20 roll.
He's probably small enough for this thing to small
18.
ball.
18, you hit it.
Yeah.
Give me, I'll say that's a D4.
How close does he get? We were
I
at
didn't
50
get much
meters
close.
before.
Like I'm
To
pegging.
toss a rock, yeah, you can probably toss a rock from, yeah, you could definitely toss a rock from 50 feet, so.
Yep, 2 damage, I guess.
So,
2 damage, okay.
a meter is a lot more than a foot.
is.
3 of them
Yeah.
near.
A 3 is a good conversion factor.
3 and 3 inches.
All right, so you have enraged the snake, so let's go ahead and roll initiative.
Okay, so how do we do that in this system?
This is why I
it's
should
a
never
DC
go
for the
drinking in
group.
Galvarook.
And then your dexterity will be a modifier on that, so even though the group is out of 4, some people might be at 5 or 3, depending
So
on their...
we roll a group die and then we add our dex mod.
Exactly.
Cool.
All right, the snake has a 5.
One of us roll.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's just go left to right across the screen, so have Darcy roll first.
Yep, 2.
2. All right. The snake... let's see here. Yeah, the snake advances forward about 30 feet. Or actually, it closes to you, but it's not able to attack. But as it starts to move, you realize it's actually 3 different snakes that were kind of all coiled up together.
Oh,
You just broke up a snake orgy. They're probably pretty pissed.
Okay, but are they still grouped together?
No, they're kind of coming in a group towards you, but they're not tangled or anything.
Okay, I was just saying, because
Okay,
if I were to shoot them with
now I
magic,
know.
but I hit all of them with just 1.
If it's any kind of area spell, you'd probably hit all 3. They're pretty close together.
Okay, cool.
Does anyone else have a raised initiative? I know Athalia does.
I do.
Yeah, I do as well.
Okay.
I guess I got a +1 dex modifier. Is that what you're?
Yeah, I get a +3 dex.
Yeah.
What's
Oh,
your,
okay.
what's your
So,
Darcy?
It's actually, my agility is actually 19.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's just because
Yeah.
the system, instead of being 18 is the maximum, 20 is the maximum. So I
Okay.
sort of bring it down a little.
Because I have a 17 AD&D dex, so I'm at 4 over here, I guess.
Okay, well, I don't think it goes 3.
That's not a modifier of 4. That's +2 to our 2, I believe.
Oh,
Okay.
How that works.
yeah. Sir Digby first, then?
Okay, well, I'm going to use one of my favorite spells. It's a blast. It's called Ants in My Pants. Basically, he makes, summons a small, ball of just concentrated ants, and then chucks it at them, and it explodes and bites and rends flesh. It's we're talking, angry, sort of Amazonian ants.
Excellent.
Yeah, Zarkos.
For those that weren't here earlier, his character is made in Neoclassical Geek Revival.
Cool. So my spells are a bit odd.
So do you have to make a roll for that in Neoclassical, or?
It's sort of it always hits unless someone does, says they're going to do something that's smart enough for them to either get half damage or so crazy enough it'll work, in which case they can get twice as much damage if they fail, but if they succeed, they get no damage. So unless the...
All right, well, the snakes don't have much of a plan for avoiding snake or ant balls. Go ahead and roll the damage that those ants would do then.
The first snake gets 3 damage.
Okay.
The second snake gets 4 plus 3, so that is 7 damage.
Okay.
And the last snake gets... Oh, I rolled another 4, that's good. That's 5 damage.
Okay, so this ball of ants just flies forward out of Sir Digby's hands and completely engulfs the middle snake that's just torn to pieces. Within seconds, it's just stripped down to a skeleton. The other 2 are still hanging in there, but their flesh is half gone, and they're just flopping around wildly.
I'm going to shoot an arrow at a snake with my composite shortbow.
Okay.
As that seems to be a sensible thing to do under the circumstance.
All right.
I rolled a 15. I get a +3 due to Dex and being an elf, so that's an 18. Is this ascending AC, or do I need to tell you?
It's ascending, starting at 0. So you said you're a level 3 thief, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't have an attack bonus necessarily yet in AD&D because I get better at 4th level because it's wacky. Because the THAC0 chart...
I'll mostly just be translating you as far as that kind of stuff into a level 3.
Okay, cool. Whatever. I am certainly as good at fighting as a level 3 thief.
D8 or whatever you would normally roll.
Usually a D6.
Okay, yeah, D6.
3 points of damage.
Okay. Do you take out another one of them? Please describe the death of this poor innocent wild.
All right. So Malice draws back an arrow on his bow and watches the snake slithering for a few moments, aims up slightly and looses. The arrow arcs up into the air, comes falling down, and lands like in the middle of the snake, which has slithered forward several feet during the time the arrow was in the air, pinning it to the ground. And its blood pools in the dust, and it rattles its last rattle of defiance and dies.
Excellent. All right, and who else was... We have to have 2 +1s, Athalia and Clever Will, right?
I'm +2, Nick.
Oh, you are +2? Okay, then go ahead and describe Athalia.
I'm actually just going to hang back. Like, seeing as 2...
All right. And Clever Will?
Yeah, that was my plan as well, hanging out.
Guess you just it's just punch it and it'll be dead.
It's still kind of far away.
That leaves us with Ollie the Barbarian, then.
Yeah, I don't have any ranged attack, so...
That's also why I'm hanging back.
Okay, well, Guy, the newly hired quiet minion, will stride forward and stab it with his pike. He's got a little bit of a distance.
Halberd?
All right, yeah, it's a halberd, isn't it?
Back to Corbin. Glaive his arm. All right, I'll stop.
7.
All right, 7 is a miss. So they acted before you, so that's the end of the round unless there's any other actions that I have overlooked from your side.
Could I get my bear to step on one of them?
Yeah, I think that's within bounds. Go ahead and make a d20 roll for it.
Ah, that's a natural 1.
Okay.
Okay.
Your bear appears to be dancing rather than stepping.
He always does it when he gets nervous. You know, he goes back to his time at the circus.
All right, let's do another round of initiative then. This poor snake has a 3.
I rolled a 3 as well.
Okay. Sir Digby, you're up.
Okay. Well, seeing as how Sir Digby is a mad scientist, it's going to look like he's not going to do anything, but then he puts one of his arms forward, and then from under it, picture a punch glove with, a diamond spike. Of course, it does, no damage, but that's not the point. It's awesome. It's like a D4 damage, but it's a cool D4 damage, you know.
Okay.
The snake's not going to expect it. You know, that's the point. Yeah. And I rolled an 8 plus 3 because of my bonuses, but I don't think.
All right. So yeah, that will miss. All right. Then we have Malice and Athalia, who are both. Oh, Malice is probably firing another bow, I assume.
Well, is there a bear dancing on top of the snake and also a goblin brandishing punch gloves at the snake?
And the guy with the there's 3 people.
It might be kind of I'm just saying that maybe firing an arrow into all of those people might be
right,
unwise.
That's your prerogative.
Well, if I start attacking my teammates, then they can feel justified in attacking me. And that ends badly. So I think we should work together here. I'm going to sling my bow, and I have a battle axe that I carry around on my back that is not actually practical for me to use, but I'm pretty strong, so I might as well. So I'm going to run over there and chop at the snake with a 2-handed axe swing.
All right. Have at it.
I rolled a 16. I don't have a strength bonus or anything. I would normally have a 16 in ADC. I might get a bonus in thief attack. I don't know.
Yeah, that'll do it. So then it'd be D8 if you're using it two-handed, D6 if you're using it one-handed.
D8. And I rolled a 1.
All right. That is enough.
Oh, good. It's not a murder snake. It's just a snake.
You cut it in half and still moving around, thrashing wildly on both halves, and you hear birds chirping in the distance.
Well, I'm going to grab that shish kebab snake and take a bite.
Tastes like chicken.
I'll offer them to my companions, you know. I'm a generous goblin. I'm like, you want some?
I'll
Just already ahead.
salt up a little bit, and I've got a salt pouch, and I'll, salt it real good and stick it in.
My stomach's still a little uneven for raw snake, I'm afraid.
Well,
Next time we come upon a sleeping
Too early in the
monster,
day.
or a sleeping anything really that we don't like, would you mind letting me deal with the situation first? I'm very good at keeping them from waking up forever.
Can I harvest the venom sacs on these snakes?
We'll go ahead and say with the one that is completely desiccated by your ants, no. The other two, you can get those out without problem, being the mad scientist that you are.
Yes. I cackle and laugh as I do it. And act like a 50s gangster for some reason. Yeah, you thought you could get me, wise guy.